Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 3. This will be the final video I do this week until next week. And next week we'll be bringing out the Chinese classic car video versus modern car, and plus 2 additional career mode videos. Well, actually 3 technically speaking, because we'll be doing the Baku Grand Prix, the Spanish Grand Prix as one episode. Then we'll be doing the Monaco Grand Prix, and most likely the Canadian Grand Prix as another episode. So you'll have like a 2-parter special episodes coming up very, very soon next week, of course. But today, obviously, we are gonna play a bit more F1 2018, should I say. And in the championship, Valtteri Bottas right now leads 10 points from us. We sit in second ahead of Fernando Alonso in the McLaren, who sits quite a comfortable third at the moment. 4th is Verstappen, 5th Raikkonen, 6th Van Dorn, 7th Hulkenberg, 8th is Ricciardo, 9th is Leclerc, Vettel in 10th. Just shows you how mixed up this grid. We've got one Ferrari in 5th, another in 10th. Then you got Grosjean in 11th, Ericsson in 12th. And the Saubers, you know, the other Sauber in 12th of Ericsson, and Perez in 13th, rounding up in terms of point scorers. So far this season, only 8 teams have scored points. Will that change today? Of course, who knows. But we're going to get into this episode, of course, of F1 2018 career mode, obviously, today. We're going to select the tyres, of course. Like always, going for the softer of the 2 strategies, and makes it obviously better for us. But last time out at Bahrain Grand Prix, we didn't have a bad Grand Prix. We just didn't have the pace to convert, if you understand where I mean. In qualifying, we had made 1 or 2 mistakes that put us on the back foot going into the race. Daniel Ricciardo had some sort of penalty. I have no idea what happened to him. And yeah, just in the end, we couldn't really catch Bottas. All we were doing really was burning out our engine, so I decided to turn down the engine towards the end of Grand Prix, more or less, and let Valtteri Bottas win, unlike last season where a DRS failure happened. But nonetheless, we're going to get in obviously to then the practice. We're going to do the usual practice session here, sort of thing, but we're going to do the tyre management, I think, and the track acclimatization, which I think are 2 alright, practice sort of things. So we'll get into that as we head up the straight then here in China, of course. And this is one of my favourite Grand Prix. Obviously, we won here in Season 3. This is where we picked up our first race win for Mercedes. Do bear that in mind. We didn't have a great qualifying. We started, I think, 5th. We were chasing down Kimi Raikkonen for the race win. And this is, I think, where we actually made that overtake on Kimi to get that race win, of course. And our first of that season, which didn't quite take us to the championship, but certainly gave us an alright season ahead. But that season it was close between us, Ferrari and Red Bull, coming to think of it. But nonetheless, doesn't mean this season will be the exact same. But so far, first 2 results of this season have been very, very similar to last season. The last season we finished on the podium in Melbourne. This season we finished on the podium in Melbourne in 3rd. Same position as last season. Last season, Bottas won the Bahrain Grand Prix. This season, Bottas won the Bahrain Grand Prix. Last season, we finished 2nd in Bahrain. This season we finished second in Bahrain. So, you know, very, very similar in terms of the start of this season to last season, I would say, so far.
That's looking good.
But nonetheless, let's try and change one of them similarities today. Let's try and make obviously a different result here. So good through first sector, almost half a second up on Verstappen's first sector. Which ain't bad. So about half a second up on Verstappen, who's in the Red Bull, of course, so that's actually quite positive.
This is the last lap of the program.
There we go.
Final lap of the program.
So we do fastest lap. Quite good through there so far. That was alright through there. Right. That's the purple score.
Okay, test complete.
And yeah, we actually gained 2 tenths actually in that final sector, which is actually pretty alright. So right now the car's handling well. Now we are going to try and put on a setup, hopefully to just improve it a little bit. But in terms of aerodynamically, the car must be then quite actually stable aerodynamically. So we're gonna go probably 5.5, I think, to give us a bit maybe more straight line speed. So because aerodynamically, I think that indicates the first sector we were really good. Middle sector we were okay. I didn't feel like the car was stepping out or anything. And the last sector, I think we were very good. So we gained actually, we were 4 tenths down, so we actually gained 7 tenths in that final sector on our personal best, which is quite impressive actually, to gain 7 tenths through a sector. Right, going to do the tyre management, so this is all about managing tyres. So, down into the first corner. That's alright through there. This program is probably more difficult, so slight step out, sort of like twitched. I sort of gone to this curb, I've sort of overcorrected it, sort of thing. You can sort of see from here the sliding of a car getting onto that curb, how it sort of unsettles. It was actually probably here where the car started to unsettle. Okay, so the car got a bit unsettled through that, and then tried to correct it, just couldn't do it. Or correct it enough in the right way.
Well, that lap and tyre wear is more or less as expected.
Right, so we'll accept that. Okay, because we got some resource points there, and we'll now move into qualifying, where hopefully we'll be within the running, of course. We'll have a look how that then turned out. So, okay, that's interesting. So, according to this, we're 1 second off our teammate, but we finished in 7th. I don't believe practice times here just yet, because obviously, as you can imagine, I don't think that correlates to what our pace on the medium was showing, which was quite okay. It was average for this track, I believe. Degradation, you have to take that into account, and track grip surface, obviously. That seems very, very quick. But it was only 1.6 from Verstappen, who was on the ultra soft. We have to bear that in mind as well. So we'll soon find out anyway, in a moment's time, where we lay here at the circuit of Shanghai. So, you know, very, very interesting it will be, hopefully.
We'd like to welcome you from...
Hopefully, though, we will get a good run. So it looks like this could be with a interesting one. So it looks like we're not going to go out for a little bit. So we're just going to skip time forward, because I do believe it is going to dry up towards the end. It doesn't look like it's going to rain, so we'll probably go out towards the end, see if we can catch out the weather. So yeah, it does look like times are improving now, so it looks like, you know, we will be on a drive track, so obviously this will change things. So obviously the last one out practically gets best track, more or less. So we'll go out, I'm gonna say now. For me, that seems good. And my teammates also going out, so we're literally us two Mercedes going out 1-2 formation to get in a lap here, because obviously I need to get in one. We're starting effectively last, as things would stand, but we are going to be the last car out, so that's our benefit. So we will have the best track in a way, whilst others still sort of drying out, making it more grippy for us. And hopefully by the time we get into that first corner, we'll have the grip to deal with the issue that melee in front of us. Taking a nice easy out lap here as well, because got time. Ooh, going a bit off there. Alright, just gonna see how fast we can go sort of up the straight. Okay, we're ready. Right, through the final corner, out of now final corner, across the line to start our first lap. Or first and only flying lap here of the Shanghai Grand Prix circuit. Taking a bit of a wider turn one than we would have liked. And we've done it again. What is it with us going into gravel traps to this in the last few days? After like the second corner. Right, gonna pull out a almighty middle sector. Right now, 6/10 down. This ain't been the best lap, by no means. Our teammate hasn't got pole. We regain, I think, about 3/10 in that final sector to take third position. I don't know where my teammate finished in all of that. Let's see. Yeah, teammate qualifies second. Wow, that's interesting. So neither of us two got a good lap in overall. But yeah, what is it with us finding the gravel track? With me in the last two races, like after turn 2, which is horrible. Like, if it wasn't for that probably gravel incident, I reckon maybe, I'm not going to say I could have got pole, but I would have been a lot closer than, again to pole position than obviously than we were. Hopefully we will improve, but we're starting second and third, us two Mercedes. That's okay, in effect. So we're starting behind Verstappen, unless Verstappen's got a grid penalty, because Ricciardo had a grid penalty last time. So who knows? There might be just a small chance Verstappen could have a penalty this time. Who knows? Let's see. No, Verstappen doesn't have a penalty, so we will be starting second and third. Us two Mercedes will be starting directly behind my teammate. Obviously, I can't actually remember where we started last season. I think it was second. It could have been third. I don't know. I'm just not sure. But yeah, I know. I don't quite remember this race last season. I remember some of it to detail. I remember obviously in the last, well, we were quick or quicker than our teammate. We caught our teammate with about 5 laps to go. We were within like that second zone, then a safety car. I was thinking about pitting for fresh tyres, but it wasn't really worth it. Sort of, if you know where I'm coming from. Then obviously after that, I remember the safety car, you know, sort of bunched us all up. We lost all the heat in our tyres. Teammate made a perfect getaway on the restart. And that was us basically waving the white flag for second place, or for the race win, should I say, last season. Obviously, you know, that's majority of the detail I remember. But here we go. So just warming up tyres, of course, getting them to a nice-ish place. Right, here we go then. So we're leaving a bit of a gap to, by the looks of it, to Bottas. We will now pull in to our grid slot here in 3rd place for the Chinese Grand Prix in Season 5.
The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
And this is Red Bull's actual second pole position within the last 2 races. So 3 out of 2 for Red Bull. No, sorry, 2 out of 3 for Red Bull Racing. Red Bull looking good. 5 red lights. And then again, just not making a brilliant getaway, but not as bad as what it was last time out in Bahrain. We've got opportunity to go around the outside of our teammate there, been pushed a little bit onto the grass. What's gone on there, for crying out loud? Right, I know it's between Sainz and I. Sainz was pushing me on the grass here, not even leaving me an inch of room. Oh, I see. So we sort of chopped across Sainz, right. What we'll do, we'll just... See, I thought Sainz weren't even there. Clearly he was. I thought Sainz was gone in my rear. But teammate and Verstappen making good getaways. That's something I think we've been always let down by, is our getaway. Right.
That start was okay. Now stay alert for threats around you.
We do fastest final sector, so it looks like we've got good pace. Right, that was good through there. So we are catching. You can really see though difference. Got a yellow flag in that first sector, so it looked like some sort of incidents happened. It's Brendan Hartley.
Strategy is available on the MFT. that confirmed.
So we're going to keep the plan unless there's a safety car. There's no point of pitting without safety car, and we're going to now turn up the engine. It's like teammate and Verstappen having a bit of a battle.
In this lap, push now. Yellow flag.
I think we're gonna get the jump on Bottas here. Now, if we come in, get a clean stop, there's also a possibility of also getting the jump done on Verstappen. Not the best exit out there. Certainly not one I would have liked. I think we should get the DRS. Yep, we will. So that's always good. As Bottas now makes a maneuver for the lead, and Bottas is in the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix on lap number 3, as we are about to make our first pit stop. We lost a bit of entry,
Exit now.
but it was a good stop. We will come out in clean air, which is nice, of course.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Come on, let's keep that place against Rotkin. Whilst tyres starting to heat up, that was so crucial. Because that's so much clean air now. We can literally just go for it. And look how much we've pulled away from, what do you call him, from Sorokin. Alright, moment of truth. Have we gained anything? Feels like a okay outlap. It's going to be close between Valtteri Bottas and myself. Not quite able to get the maneuver done, but I do think we're within a lot better of a following distance. And obviously we will have a good...
The car behind has come in. They're now on the soft tyre. Softs on the car behind.
Ah, that was horrible. Right. Bottas has made a mistake. We go through Oh no! For crying out loud! So Bottas made a mistake, we come through. Then we sort of get pushed out onto the apron. Slide, Bottas then slows down, slams on his brakes, gets brake checked by me. Well, by himself, virtually. I get brake checked. Alright, we'll just replay it from here.
Our gap behind is 7.7 seconds.
There, that's okay, I'll accept that. Because obviously, Bottas made him a mistake. He would have lost time, so everyone's witness. He made a mistake. Then he sort of pushed me out. I was trying to give him as much room. And when you're racing side by side against the AI like that, it's so difficult, honestly. Because the AI in this game are quite touch and go. But we will both pass. Then obviously Verstappen. And we'll head then on this lap as we lead the way. So all we're trying to do right now is sort of save our tyres for 1 or 2 laps, but at the same time keep up the pace. We keep going out wide there, and that's really affecting me in terms of our lap times. I'm going to turn down the engine a little bit, but we are leading the Grand Prix. Just put up the ERS deployment, so hopefully that should help. And we're gonna try and pull away from Bottas, obviously. Not going for any fast lap times on these tyres, just going for consistent driving. To try and eke out a lead lap by lap sort of style now. That's the exits I like. So right now, lap 7 of 14. We're now doing fastest lap. I love how I say I'm not going for fastest lap and we do a fastest lap. Always works out to be like that. So far though, I think we have driven a very good Grand Prix. Despite 1 or 2 racing mistakes, maybe one at the start. That one with Bottas, but that's about it so far, in all honesty. There's been nothing serious overall, I don't think, that really you could say I haven't done bad in. Like, I haven't been slow, I've been consistent.
deployment.
I've
It's time
done
to use some of this charge.
the fastest lap now twice. Like, yeah. In my opinion, we're doing so far a good race. Sounded like the floor was dragging there for a bit. So right now, Bottas is sat right now in second place. Overall, he would still have the lead in the championship. If race finishes like this, the gap would be 3 points.
We're at plus 1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target plus 1. We're leading our teammate by 1.5 seconds.
So far, this race has been quite nice in terms of the way the cars just felt all race long.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
Right, Bottas is certainly closer. 1 second now is the gap to myself and Bottas. I'm gonna say he's up to the pace a little bit. We've been very consistent in our lap times.
Let's turn up the ERS deployment and burn some of this energy.
See, what's right now saving us is that corner, that long corner. We're just getting such a better exit compared to Valtteri. And then obviously same with off the hairpin. Really, just giving us such a better exit.
Okay, boots aren't looking too warm at this point. We should have plenty of life left in them. Let's make sure we keep managing them properly.
See, I'm not gonna raise my pace just because he's right now faster. If he wants to go faster, he has to overtake me. Like I overtaken him, like he made a mistake.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
That's a bit of a mistake. Just a tad. Valtteri could have me here.
DRS is offline. The rear wing is down, so you can stay out while we work on a fix.
We do have a DRS failure, so if Valtteri does overtake us, we would be practically at a loss. So, right now we are racing for the win. Whilst we got a Valtteri Byers with a fully functioning car. My car seems to have a slight problem. Right now anyway, we can't use the drag reduction, so we gotta keep calm regardless of the situation. Because even if we did have DRS, we wouldn't be able to utilize it anyway in this situation. That's exactly what we've got to do. Because we're now going to turn up the engine.
Some information on Verstappen. They have an issue with their car.
And hopefully that will be that. And Verstappen's got an issue with his car as well. I want to see what's going on with Verstappen. I think it's a puncture. Yeah, rear right puncture on the final lap, more or less, of the Grand Prix. Now, if he makes it back to the pits, ooh, well, I think that's the end of his race, really. Could he make it back to the pits without getting overtaken? He's got all that straight to do as well. Ricardo, where is Ricardo overall? Ricardo's in P8. Who's this? That's Vettel, P9, P10. I think that, yeah, that's Verstappen's race over and done with. More or less. Feel very, very sorry for Verstappen, who's just received a puncture. So, this will be my final lap of the race, of course, alongside the other still 19 cars and one long one for Verstappen, of course, as we now set about on this final lap of the race. In a way, trying to bring the car home, but if we can get fastest lap as well, we'll see.
Some information on Vettel.
Vettel's out of the race. So how's Vettel's race ended? Quickly. That's a big surprise. So where is Vettel? I don't know, but he's out. What's happened? We'll find out at the end. Wow. So Verstappen's puncture, Vettel's God know what. As we spin up our rears out of that turn. As we are going to get our first race win then this season in China. So it's not the same from last season. It's still a Mercedes 1-2, but this time we take the victory in China fair and square, and that's the fastest lap on the final lap of the race. Yes, get in there. So that was a brilliant race win, fastest lap race win. Then 1-2 for Mercedes. What a race. Then. And yeah, in the championship that means we're back to within 3 points. Which is actually probably really nice actually. I think going into Baku last season we were trailing about 15 points at this stage. Or no, 17 actually. So yeah. It's nice that we are not trailing as much, but a 1-2 for us, brilliant result. And yeah, Verstappen's so unlucky on the last lap. In fact, two drivers really unlucky on the last lap. Vettel and Verstappen. Verstappen with the puncture. I don't know what happened to Sebastian Vettel. In the Ferrari, of course. But yeah, and obviously it looks like the champagne's run out, because they're not spraying champagne, they're spraying air. There's nothing coming out there. So there we go. Then that is then how it all ends. So that's your top 10 then. So I finished first for Bottas, and second Alonso, third, fourth Carlos Sainz, fifth the McLaren of Stoffel Van Dorn, sixth Raikkonen, seventh Ricciardo, eighth Leclerc, ninth is Ocon, and 10th Nico Hulkenberg. So yeah, overall though, a very quick lap time, a 1:32.9 in the end for us, which wasn't bad overall. So in terms of constructors, of course, drivers, as I say, we're within 3 points of the championship lead. That will probably increase in Baku. So yeah, take that with a pinch of salt, should I say. But nonetheless, it was all right result then. Alonso is in third, so yeah, at the moment. So yeah, quite a big gap between ourselves and Verstappen. To be correct, 34 points. Of what I'm correct, yeah, 34 points between us and Verstappen. So practically, we've got a race win over Verstappen now, which is quite nice overall to have that buffer between us and Verstappen right now. Ricciardo's even further behind that. So yeah. In terms of constructors, we're now 51 points clear of McLaren, 79 points clear of Red Bull, and 88 points clear of Scuderia Ferrari, of course, right now. Still only 8 teams, as of yet, have scored a point in this championship season. Still waiting on Williams and Toro Rosso to deliver, despite 5 seasons have gone past. So yeah. Yeah, not a bad result then. Let's see what it says about quickly. So I want to quickly see how good we were in that second stint. So in the first stint, could we only really have like 2 laps in that first stint? Really, you can't really tell what our average lap time was. All we can say was we did a 1:33.2, which was all right, I suppose. But in that second stint, we were really averaging. At the start of it, we were averaging. Well, when we set the fastest lap, we were averaging 33s. But then for the remainder of that stint, we were just averaging mid 33s to low 34s. To high 33 sort of thing, and then that was only because we were saving tyres, and that's obviously evident because of obviously the fastest lap at the end there for us, which was a 1:32.9. I was just saving the tyres to make sure that the tyres would get to the end to conserve our lead, because when you're in the lead, well, a race lead, there's no point of there's no real point of like going for fastest lap every single lap, because you're not going to get fastest lap every single lap, so you might as well conserve your 1 second gap, save the tyres, and then if you fancy the risk like I did towards the end, just go for it on the last lap. If you bin it, you bin it. If you don't, you don't. And yeah, that's the way I see it. So it looks like they all had a collision with Verstappen there, because it does say collision with Vettel for Verstappen. Okay, no penalty issue, just a warning. So yeah, so that's what happened to the Vettel then. So that will be the final video of them this week. We'll be back on Monday for round 4 and 5 usually. Amazing. So we'll do that, okay. Then on Tuesday, we'll probably do classic car versus modern car, the Chinese Grand Prix edition, basically a preview to the Chinese Grand Prix.
You must be happy with the results.
And then on either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on the day I'm free, we'll do another 2 rounds, of course.
Things are looking up after last week.
We'll do the round 6 and round 7 Monaco and Canadian Grand Prix, of course. So yeah, and then obviously my race review from the Chinese Grand Prix will come out on the following Monday of the Grand Prix. So that'll be basically Monday after the Grand Prix. Basically, in other words, obviously in about a week's time, and hopefully either Charles Leclerc or Sebastian Vettel, my favourite driver, Vettel is, but hopefully one of either the 2 Ferrari drivers can get the first race win for Ferrari this season at the amazing circuit of Shanghai. One of the best, I think, personally, on the calendar, and in fact it was a very, very well, last season it was a bit of an awkward one for, I think, being a Ferrari fan, because, you know, due to the safety car and Mercedes' brilliant strategy in a way, we got caught out last season, which obviously costed us, well, Vettel the race win, and it in a way costed Verstappen the race, Bottas the race win, because some cars could literally come into the pits, whilst others had to basically stay out more or less, which is a bit of a shame really, because obviously when others could come in and the others had to stay out, of course, it was very, very horrible to see. So we'll be back on Monday with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix round number 4 and 5. Okay, because that's how I'm going to do it this season, the final season of career mode. Okay, and I'm going to call that a definite final season of career mode. I know I said season 4 may be a final season, but I only said maybe, and I think that's the key word here, maybe. And the reason why I've decided to do a season 5 is because, in a way, I want to improve on last season, as you can understand. Because last season, whilst we did become world champion, I feel like we didn't become world champion on a clean slate. Whereas, okay, yeah, we made 1 or 2 mistakes there. I feel like we sort of deserved more than maybe other drivers to win that race. Because, obviously, even though we used, I think, 2 flashbacks, that was it. 1 flashback was because Valtteri Bottas pushed us out wide. The other flashback was at the beginning of the race. Otherwise, we didn't use any flashbacks for the entirety of 14 laps. Okay, and obviously, as you can understand, there was only 1 or 2 mistakes made. And yeah, I'll say, okay, if I let them mistakes played out, we wouldn't have won that Grand Prix. And yes, that's a fact. But also, if I did let them mistakes play out, well, we would have had the pace to win it. But also, like, you see what I mean? Like, we had the pace to win that Grand Prix, but we didn't have. Well, we easily had the pace actually. Like, we were controlling the race. Once we were in front, we controlled the pace, and even when we were racing behind, we didn't really make any mistakes whilst racing. We only made 1 mistake because Bottas locked up. Okay, going into the turn before the long straight sort of thing, that left-right chicane sort of thing before the long right-handed turn. I can't remember what corner it is. I think it's turn 13, so that'd be like turn 10 or something. Basically, Bottas locked up, going, I believe, into turn 10 through 11, and obviously we sort of bumped wheels. That sort of pushed me out onto the apron, and obviously, like, I can't predict him locking up, and then he brake checked me. You know, like, if he brake checked me, that isn't my fault, in all fairness. Because in this game, the AI can be a bit dodgy. They do sort of sometimes brake check you, and obviously, you have to be a bit careful. Just a bit careful, but yeah. See you all next time for another video of career mode for round number 4 and 5.